You don't feel pursued. You don't feel chosen out loud. And yet, there's a quiet knowing inside you that you live in someone's thoughts more than they allow themselves to admit. They never said it. They never acted on it. But something about the connection lingered unresolved, unnamed. This message isn't here to explain the situation. It's here to gently name what has been felt, but never spoken. This connection didn't begin through effort. There was no clear intention, no visible move, no attempt to impress. It formed softly, almost invisibly, like a thin layer of mist that settles before anyone realizes the air has changed. You arrived not through words, but through presence. Through a kind of silence that had depth. Through eye contact that didn't demand, but stayed. Through an energy that didn't try to be understood. And because they couldn't quite read you, they started thinking about you more. And this is where things quietly shift. The absence of clarity didn't push them away. It pulled them in. Not in a dramatic way, but in a way that returned again and again. Often when they were alone with their thoughts. The person who carries this silent longing for you is not someone loud or careless with emotion. They move through life with a calm exterior. Grounded. Self-contained. There's often a depth in their eyes, something lived, something carried. They don't overexpress. They don't chase intensity. But they hold complexity beneath the surface. The kind of person who seems composed until something unexpected reaches inside. They are someone who feels deeply, but controls those feelings tightly. From the outside, their life appears stable, functional, even fulfilling. They've built something that works. They know how to enjoy what they have. At one point, they genuinely believed this was enough. Then you appeared. Not to complete anything. Not to fix a lack. But to quietly disturb a sense of certainty. Without trying. You touched a question they had long avoided. Is the life I'm living actually reaching the deepest part of me? This is something most people don't notice at first. The moment they began thinking of you more wasn't dramatic. It may have been a single sentence you spoke plainly, a short conversation, or a moment when you reflected a truth they weren't ready to face. There was no romance in it, no performance, just precision. And once that happened, you were no longer a passing thought. You became an idea that returned. They think of you when their guard is down, when the day is over, when distractions fade. And what they feel is no longer simple attraction. It's attachment, quiet, restrained, internal. A wanting that stays unspoken. A pull they don't give themselves permission to follow. Here's the part that changes how you understand this. You represent something they believe they shouldn't want. Not because you are wrong, but because wanting you threatens the structure they rely on. Touching you means risking disruption. Of relationships they're already in. Of identities they've carefully built. Of routines that give them a sense of control. They sense that stepping closer to you would mean stepping away from stability. And so they hesitate. Their mind knows the cost. Their emotions don't care. This inner conflict is why the connection feels suspended. Why it never fully arrives. And never fully disappears. There's also something important to understand about their nature. They are drawn to movement, to creation, to freedom. Often working in spaces that require adaptability, creative paths, communication, independent work, or fast-changing environments. They don't thrive in rigid systems. They follow instinct. They shift direction when something no longer feels aligned. They are bold in decisions, comfortable with risk. Except here, with you. Because this risk isn't external. It's internal. And that makes it harder to outrun. There's a question lingering here. One that hasn't been answered yet. Is this connection meant to remain a quiet flame? Or does it require awareness from both sides to evolve into something real? For now, it stays open. Energetically, this person feels deeply. There's a sensitivity beneath their control, an emotional depth that bonds quickly, and alongside that, a restlessness, a spark, an impulsive edge. This combination makes them intense in ways they rarely show. And it's exactly why they struggle to forget you. If your paths cross again, the connection could reignite fast, strong, immediate, unmistakable. But intensity alone doesn't create safety. For this to move forward, it would require clarity, presence, and emotional responsibility from both of you. Without that, the feeling remains what it is now, a quiet ember, not enough to burn everything down, not weak enough to disappear. You didn't intend to leave an imprint. You didn't arrive with purpose or agenda. You were simply yourself. And sometimes, that's all it takes to reach someone more deeply than they ever prepared themselves to be reached. If this message resonated, you don't need to do anything with it. Just let it settle. And if you feel called, you're welcome to like, share, or subscribe. Or simply leave a word below that captures what you're feeling right now. Take a breath and carry only what feels gentle to hold.